Hey, it's Rachel, and today we're talking about living up to your true or fullest potential. So, I believe that there's a lot of potential in everyone, and most of the time we aren't using our fullest potential. Maybe that's because we don't actually realize we have that potential. Maybe it's because we don't actually think we're good enough, or we maybe have some fears of, let's say, doing something and potentially failing at it, although there's always a chance that you could succeed as well. Now, why do people, not live up to their full potential? There's many different reasons for it, but I think the biggest one it's got to do with your environment, whether people are actually, really supportive of you, or are they people who kind of like try to fit you in their little boxes and tell you, hey, you should fit into this little box because this is where everyone is doing all these things. For example, everyone's having that 9 to 5, so you should have that 9 to 5. Everyone is getting a partner at age 25, so you should get a partner or a wife or a husband at age 25. Everyone should look, like skinny babes, or things like that. And so they try to fit you in a box and you try to fit yourself in, and that's why you are possibly not living up to your full potential. And so that's why I made this um basically a little bit like a presentation for you to go through about living up to your full potential. Now, a lot of people just try to get by because life's just life. Like when you think about it, a lot of people just go through life and just for the sake of it. So they just study what they need to think they need to study, they work as they need to work, and then after that they retire and then maybe try to enjoy life or just kind of go through. So there's nothing too, fantastic, and most people's lives are actually kind of mediocre. And it's not really their fault. Maybe they just don't have any, higher dreams, or maybe they've got their dreams crushed by different realities and things like that. But the idea here is there's a lot more that you can do to take charge of your life than you think. And so that's the reason why, like, when people try to get by, that's when they don't really achieve anything. Now, and there's a lot of people that are also comfortable with mediocrity, not because they really like to be mediocre, but because mediocre is like a comfort zone. So there's many people that tell you that, oh, like they fear failure, they fear, getting rejected, they fear that they might end up doing something wrong or something not perfect enough, or, just they fear all these things. But there's also really this weird fear, which is the fear of success. Because, like, when you see yourself, one day maybe becoming successful, then you would think, like, oh, what will people think of me? Will people think that I'm like this successful person that, looks at others in disdain? Or, like, would they think that I'm this kind of would they think negatively of me just because I become successful? Because I've got my new set of friends who will support me in becoming successful, but that's not them. And that's also the reason why mediocrity and the lack of success, to a certain extent, for some people, or in fact probably most, are actually a comfort zone. And that's the reason why it's very hard for them to progress, because they think that it's okay. Like, I'll rather just stay in my little box, and I don't want to venture out of it. I don't want to grow a bigger box, just because that way they don't get judged. And a lot of times, because we care about so much about what people think about us, that's the reason why we don't take any action. And Benjamin Franklin says it really well. Most people die by 25 but aren't buried until 75 because they've lost all their dreams, their hopes, all their whatever they're trying to achieve, but they're just a little bit scared, and they just don't want to, you know, take the step out because it's just their comfort zone. And so our brain is wired for autopilot because it conserves energy. Like doing your day to day, every single day, as you wake up, as you brush your teeth, as you go by your day to day activities, it feels as if every single day is kind of like the same. And it is kind of like the same, because that's how the brain is wired for. It conserves energy. It makes us avoid change, because any kind of change means that you got to adapt. And when you got to adapt, it uses up quite a lot of energy, which isn't something that the brain wants. And so it, by, being in autopilot, it makes us avoid change. But that also means that other outcomes will never happen. So maybe if you wouldn't take the step out, then you wouldn't be experiencing a new version of yourself, the version that you really wanted to achieve, like the best version of yourself. Not what other people think is the best version of you, because those people, they actually want the best version of you that suits them. But it's not exactly the best version of you. Only you know what is the best version of you. And so what I want to say here is, we want to stop autopiloting. We want to take charge of our lives. We want to stop letting our we want to stop letting life take control of us. And so if everyone lived at their full potential, what would the world become now? People who had dreams of designing this new product, they would have designed it long ago. There would be so much more advancements if everyone lived at their full potential. There's so many companies that are born out of a garage, like Apple, like Amazon. I think Google is as well. But yeah, there's so many great companies that are born out of people's garage, because they wanted to live at their full potential. They wanted to, serve the world in a way that they could. And if everyone lived at their full potential, this world would probably become maybe, 20, 30 years in advance already. We will be living like a 2050 life in 2020 and 2022. And so I guess what prompted this change is actually the story of my uncle's death. I don't know. If you guys have watched one of my other videos, I probably delved into it a little bit, but basically what prompted me to change how I think about life and what I really want, it's because my uncle was a pharmacist, and he died pretty young. He basically had like well, you can say like an end stage, I believe, colon cancer. And the doctor says that, he's got not much lives left to live, and he's going to die soon. That was like a couple years back already. And so it was really heartbreaking, not because my uncle died per se, pardon me, but it's more of like, how life can be so short and you don't actually know when you're gonna die. It could be like the next moment. And so the idea here is, I don't want to end up having to regret my life if I didn't try the things that I really wanted to try. For example, I wanted to travel the world, and I already made plans to go traveling in 2 years. Well, kind of like in 2 years' time. And the next thing is, I really want to, leave this whole um this whole box that people have set for me. Like, I don't want to be stuck doing the job that people plan for me. And so I decided to venture out, because if I didn't try, and if I didn't fail, and if I didn't keep trying, then I wouldn't know my own potential. And so I wanted to have an opportunity, have a chance to live up to my full potential. And even though I might, hit a lot of stumbles, a lot of roadblocks on the way, but at least I know that I've tried. And that's the biggest thing. Like, it's about doing life as best as you can, and knowing that you've given it your all, and not just settle. And so that's what my uncle's death has taught me, because it basically allowed me to appreciate how life is actually so short. And when my grandparents saw that child has passed away, it was really heartbreaking for them, and really heartbreaking for me to see my grandma, because she's one of the most important persons to me. And so seeing her like so upset, and feeling to like no longer going to celebrations anymore, and no longer making she used to make this, like, they call it tang yuan, but it's like this glutinous rice balls in like sweet syrup. And we used to make that every winter solstice, but she stopped making them ever since my uncle left. And so I wanted to bring that back to her. I wanted to, spend more time with her. And I want to make sure that, everyone and me spending time with my family, we could all go create some memories and basically live a life that is really, really like a statement of how a life should be lived. Okay. And so with that, to recap, I just want to ask yourself, are you living up to your full potential? And what is your full potential? Because most of the time you probably haven't really explored it. And what would your life look like if you lived every day with full potential? Commit yourself to getting 1% better each day and laying the brick on the wall, building that bridge. So you want to lay and lay and lay, building that bridge to the life that you truly want and deserve. And that way, you'll be able to leave absolutely no regrets in life. All right. If you like this kind of videos, remember to, going straight down. All right. Going back to tiny me. Okay, so if you like this kind of videos, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you want more tips on living out your best life and value-driven content, my social media links are up on the top right-hand corner of the page. Enjoy, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day.